Good evening and welcome to the Calaveras Council of Governments October 5th, 2022 board meeting. If you could please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I get started, I just want to let everyone know we have a couple board members online, so we will have to do roll call vote tonight. Okay, so just remember, and then for those of you that are online, if you can, please put your hand up just to make sure I don't miss you with comments. All right, so with that, we have the consent agenda in front of us. Actually, let me back up. One more announcement for the board. We have closed session at the end of this. We will be moving the closed session to the end of CTA. So Monica, is there anything else you need to add on that?
Good evening, Chair Bollendorf and members of the board. No, there is a closed session identified on the COG agenda as well as the CTA agenda, and vote will be handled, just as you mentioned, at the conclusion of the CTA meeting.
Perfect, thank you. If there's no other questions, I'm gonna go on to the consent agenda. So consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial and will be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion. Are there any board members that wish to pull an item off of consent? Okay, I'm not seeing it in the room. Are there any online? Okay, Caroline, you need to pull what item?
Minutes.
The minutes? Okay. So that is item number 2. Okay, Krista, anything? You're good? Okay, perfect. Are there any public comment on consent? I'm not seeing any online. Okay, perfect. We'll move on. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item 1 and 3?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so moved by Alvin, seconded by Tim. Can you please do a roll call vote?
Yes. Roll call. Roll call consent agenda. Amanda Follendorf.
Aye.
Gary Tocanelli.
Aye.
Alvin Brolio.
Aye.
Caroline Tirado.
Aye.
Krista Dodd.
Aye.
Tim Munides.
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. We'll move on to consent. Oh, what?
I was going to make a motion for 2.
Oh, okay, yes. Hold on, Jeff.
Yeah, I know, I got to go.
We have consent item number 2 pulled. Is there any public comment on this item? Caroline, you're pulling it because you weren't here, correct?
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys.
Your mic's on.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. You pulled item number 2, so do you have any comment on that?
I just wasn't at the meeting, so I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? I'm not seeing any, so we'll move on to, is there a motion to approve consent agenda item number 2?
Now I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved by Alvin, seconded by Tim. Please, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Item number 4.
2.
2. Sorry. Amanda Follendorf.
Aye.
Gary Tocanelli.
Yes.
Alvin Brolio.
Aye.
Caroline Tirado.
Abstain.
Krista Dodd.
Aye.
Tim Munides.
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. Okay. You got that? Good? Okay. We'll move on to regular agenda. Our first item up is item number 4, which is public comment. Comments, are there any public comments for any item not on the agenda? I'm not seeing any, and we're not seeing any on line, so we'll move on to item number 5. Item number 5 is Caltrans report, and I thought I saw someone online. Marlon,
Yes.
there you are. Yep, hi.
Hey, Madam Chair, this is Marlon Rees-Ford, Caltrans District 10. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members, and Madam Director. I'd just like to give just a few updates from Caltrans lately. And I'll start with some federal and state funding opportunities. One, starting with the electrical vehicle charging network. And recently the U.S. Joint Office of Energy Transportation has also signed off on the California deployment plan for the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, or also the NEVI program, which allows $56 million in funding available to install charging stations throughout the state of California. And this is also funded by the Federal Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act of 2021, as we know as IJA. And California expects to receive a total of $384 million of this program over the next 5 years. And this is building off of the state's $10 billion multi-year investment to transition to zero emission vehicles, infrastructure, and affordability for charging infrastructure. So basically, there is funding available for this program, and we are encouraging all of our local partners to let us know if you're interested, and also just want to share the website that FHWA has created for this program, and it is pretty simple. It's driveelectric.gov. So all funding program information is there. Caltrans, we are happy to share any additional information or provide any feedback you'd like on the NEVI program. Now, moving on to state programs, we have our annual Caltrans Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant Program that is coming up very soon for this fiscal year, or excuse me, the fiscal year of 23-24. So right now we are going to basically have some workshops for our grant application guide. And we're doing a 30-day public comment period, which started today, and it ends on November 4th, 2022. We're gonna have a workshop. We're gonna have 2 workshops after the 30-day public comment period is closed. And this is per state budget, Senate Bill 198. There is actually $50 million that has been augmented for the Climate Adaptation Planning Grant Program, which we're very happy about because we know there's a lot of need out there for adaptation planning. And so we're hoping our local partners will be interested in that program. Once again, there is also $17 million available competitively for the Sustainable Communities Program, $12.5 million available for the Formula Program, and this is for local and regional planning agencies. And we also have our strategic partnership grants, which is $4.5 million of competitive funding to address transportation deficiencies on the state highway system in partnership with Caltrans. So if you'd like more information on those 3 grant programs, the Sustainable Communities Program, Climate Adaptation Planning Grant Program, and also our Strategic Partnerships Program, please do reach out to myself, or anyone in our district will be able to help you out with that. We do have a website available for further information as well, and I can share that with the board. But I really want to encourage you all to consider the program and consider participating in the grant workshops. Next, I do want to also mention there is another climate adaptation and resiliency program, climate adaptation planning grant available for potential recipients on the local and regional side. This is $25 million from the Governor's Office of Planning and Research, and this is for this year's budget, this past year's budget, and eligible applicants are cities, counties, MPOs, joint powers authorities, regional transportation planning agencies, COGs, and other public entities such as Native American tribes and disadvantaged communities and community-based organizations. this application deadline is on November 7th. Again, if you're interested in that program, please do let me know, or there's also information on the Caltrans website and the OPR, which is the Office of Planning and Research website. Lastly, I do want to just mention our appreciation for Melissa Raggio. We appreciate the previous overall work program. We're looking forward to working on this year's overall work program with you, and we are awaiting the Amendment 1 for programming carryover, so just FYI on that. And just a reminder for progress reports, they are due Q1 at the end of this month, which is Halloween, October 31st. And I'll finalize with some local traffic advisories. On State Route 4, we do have some traffic controls in place from Bonanza Mine to Appaloosa Road. This is going to be happening tomorrow and Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., so during the daytime. We also have traffic controls on State Route 12 from Lime Creek Road west to Double Springs Road on the left side of the road for utility work. That's also happening tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And lastly, on Route 49, we do have some traffic controls in place from the rest area in Carson Hill to Gun Club Road on the right side for drainage work. And this is going to be happening on Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So please expect delays if you're in that area. And as always, please check the quickmap.ca.gov and check out the app as well. That concludes my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. And thanks again for the time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any board members that have questions about any of those programs he mentioned? Are there any online? I'm not seeing. Okay. Thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Marlon.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Always good to see you.
Likewise.
We'll move on to regular agenda item number 6, which is the minute order approving amendment number 3 to professional service agreement with the Sierra Business Council for Phase 2 of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Inventory and Reduction Plans for the County of Calaveras and the City of Ingles. At this time, I turn it over to Melissa Raggio.
Thank you, Chair Follendorf. Staff is recommending the council approve amendment number 3 to the professional services contract with Sierra Business Council. We are requesting to increase the contract by $29,495. This would make the contract a not to exceed amount of $254,178. This project has been going on for approximately 2 years. We completed phase 1 in October of 21. Since the beginning of 22, we've experienced some delays. So I'm requesting this amendment to keep this project whole and continue on with phase 2 for the city and county. And with this work, the city and county will have 2 separate CEQA documents to work with for their member agencies. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions by board? No? Okay. Are there any questions online? I don't see any shaking their head. Okay. Are there any public comment on this item? Seeing none in the room and none online, is there a motion to approve the minute order approving amendment number 3?
I'll move this item, Madam Chair.
Moved by Gary. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alvin. Can you please do a roll call vote?
Roll call, agenda item number 6, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Topanelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Tirado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Madides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. With that, we'll move on to regular agenda item number 7, which is resolution number FY23-12 approving the fiscal year 22-23 OWP Amendment 1 and the overall program agreement with Caltrans. Melissa.
Thank you, Chair Follendorf. This is the item Marlon was just mentioning. This is our fiscal year 22-23 overall work program amendment number 1, As the council is aware, every year we approve our final overall work program in June, and that is before we've closed the fiscal year, so those are estimates. Our amendment number 1 that I bring to you is after we've reconciled year end, and it reflects the carryover balances by funding source and by project. If you wanted to take a look in your packet on page number 23, this is the overall work program amendment number 1 worksheet. I've highlighted the carryover on the top. Under the grants column, the 131,821 should have been, highlighted in that top. And that is the actual project carryover. So that reflects the project delivery for the Calaveras evacuation plan. We've invoiced, that's the carryover balance, so that should be reflected on the top. The other ones below, under the work elements that are highlighted, this is where the carryover balance has been added to these work elements. So we've added them to the regional planning and item number 5, the planning, programming, and monitoring for state and federal items. And then the projects below are project balances, so their funding carried with the project. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The Technical Advisory Committee has reviewed this amendment number 1 and supports it to the council.
Are there any questions from the board? Gay?
No, not at this time.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Are there any other board member questions or comments on this item? Okay. And checking online, there's none there. Are there any public comment? Okay, there's no public comment in the room and none on Zoom. With that, is there a motion to approve resolution number fiscal year 23-12 approving the overall work agreement with Caltrans for the amendment number 1? Moved by Tim, seconded by Alvin. Could you please do a roll call vote?
Roll call agenda item number 7, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Shirado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Mutides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. Okay. We'll move on to item number 8, which is resolution number fiscal year 23-13, approving the allocation instructions of fiscal year 22-23 LTF totaling $64,405 to fund the fiscal year 22-23 overall work program amendment number 1. Melissa.
Thank you, Chair Follendorf. With the approval of amendment number 1, now we need to fund the overall work program. This is a request for LTF funding to fund the 22-23 overall work program. On page 82, there is a breakdown of apportionments for LTF. We have the auditor's controller's estimate. And as you can see, this agenda item is requesting $64,405. That is a significant decrease from the previous years. Staff, after reconciling and seeing the amount of funding in our operating fund, this is the only amount of LTF staff is requesting to fund the overall work program, Amendment 1. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anyone have any questions about? Gary?
No.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Seeing none in the room and none online, move it. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Moved by Tim, seconded by Pat. Could you please do roll call?
Roll call agenda item number 8, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Shirado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Mutides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. We'll move on to item number 9, which is resolution number fiscal year 23-14, approving allocation instructions of fiscal year 22-23 LTF to the Bike and Pedestrian Fund totaling $19,395. Melissa.
Thank you, Chair Follendorf. For the Transportation Development Act, we are required to set aside 2% of the estimate after planning and transit. So staff is requesting an allocation of $19,395 of LTF be transferred to the Bike and Pedestrian Fund. We have identified the Bike and Pedestrian Fund over the last, I think, 3 years for grant matches. So if we were to receive grant awards from the ATP applications that we've submitted, this would be match funds for those. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions by the board? Any online? I have one question. The last time this policy was updated was in 2013. So with the rising cost of things, is this something that in the future we should look at with more and more of these projects coming down, especially with this being a priority of Caltrans across the state?
So I think the policy that you're mentioning is the Transportation Development Guidebook that the COG put together. So that is separate, but we can bring back a policy decision if the council wanted to put more funding away in the Bike and Ped for future projects. That is something staff could bring back.
Okay.
So we could,
Oh, go ahead.
so we could say we wanted 4% from the LTF, or
Yes.
we could raise that
We
percentage.
can go higher, you
Can't
just
go lower?
can't go below.
Okay.
Is that something, Gary?
Well, I think it would be dependent upon a project that we would have, that we would need funding for, that we would allocate more money towards it, which there could be one coming up here in the next year.
So I would ask that we wait to see if we receive either of the ATP applications, if we receive award on those, and then we would allocate the match, and then we could revisit if we wanted to put more aside or how we wanted to be strategic going forward.
Is that something that everyone would be okay with waiting for that, or do we want to? I just wanted to ask the question and raise it because cost is going up and it's been almost how long since we had this
So
discussion?
that's
Until
my
we get-
recommendation is staff bring back something after we know if we're awarded the ATP.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Is
So see if we
that,
get the active transportation.
Yeah, and that's what my thought was, again, once we have a project, we can allocate more money going forward into it, or we know we have projects on the book that we're,
yep, and let's get through our call for projects also. So let's get through our call for projects and our ATP grant applications, and then we can, you know, revisit this and identify our priorities over the next 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that recommendation? Okay. Does anyone online, I see Caroline nodding her head yes. Krista, does that sound okay to you? Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Melissa. With that, if there's no other questions or comments, is there any public comment? I can't remember if I did that or not. No, and I'm not seeing any in the room. So is there a motion to approve this resolution, fiscal year 23-14?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alvin, seconded by Tim. Could you please do roll call?
Roll call, agenda item number 9, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
aye,
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Shirado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Munides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. Okay, moving on to regular agenda item number 10, which is resolution number fiscal 23-15, approving the allocation instructions for fiscal year 22-23 Rstp totaling 100,041, I'm going to screw this up now, 41, $141,000 and 141,131. I'm in a mess tonight, sorry. To fund the fiscal year 22-23 overall work program amendment number 1. Tongue-tied, sorry. Melissa?
Thank you, Chair Follendorf. As you mentioned, this allocation from the RSTP fund will fund the overall work program activities. This allocation, as you said, is $141,131. In the staff report, I've also included a chart that shows all the previously programmed projects in the CIP. This funding that we're asking to allocate is part of the COGS allocation. So all of the projects currently approved in the CIP are fully funded, and we also have the funding for this allocation. The Technical Advisory Committee heard this request and supports this recommendation. I'd be happy.
Oh my God, if TAC approved it, we have to.
Well, they're here if you want to talk to them.
Are there any questions from board members? None? Okay, I have a question again.
Okay.
When can we start dropping off these older projects? I know, I had to ask. I needed to ask. I gotta ask because it comes up, and I think people are wondering the same thing, so I'm gonna be the one to ask, yeah.
Yes. That is based on project delivery. I think the member agencies are working hard to deliver these projects. We have a new call for projects coming up, and so hopefully these will start moving off, and we'll be looking ahead to our new call for projects.
Okay.
One thing I can add to that is, Kelly mentioned it at our last meeting. I've been working with the County Public Works team, and they are going to be implementing a new online CIP for all of their staff and for the county. So I look forward to that. We are funding those improvements through our project delivery work element that is within this overall work program amendment number 1.
That's good news. Okay. I keep seeing these since they're the same.
Off all the city projects that are.
No, some of these have been on here as long as I've been on here, and I just wanted to see where we were at, and just a friendly, gentle reminder, we should probably clean some of this up.
Really long.
Well, the first list, it says 14, 15, 16. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were making some progress on some of that. Thank you. With that, is there any public comment? Oh, yes.
So let me make an update to my statement. Even though that is stated on there, that's what was previously programmed, that doesn't mean that's what the balance is. So they've spent those funds in 14-15 on the turning lane on O'Burns Ferry Road. So that has been spent.
Okay.
Okay. I'll bring back an update when we have the approved call for projects and let you know everything that's been spent.
Yeah, okay, and show us stages of the project.
Yep.
It's complete, what, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Okay, are there any public comment? I'm not seeing any in the room. I'm not seeing any online, right? Okay. So with that, is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Moved by Tim. Is there a second? Second by Pat. Could you please do roll call?
Roll call, agenda item number 10, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
All right?
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Toronto. She's shaking yes.
You're muted, Caroline.
Okay.
Something's happening with her video. She can't probably turn it on. Yep, she's not.
Okay, Krista Dodd,
I got it, thank you. Aye.
Tim Munides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye. Okay. With that, the next item is showing the closed session. As a reminder, we will be moving the closed closed session item that is on the agenda right now, 11, to the end of CTA. So with that, we'll move on to,
Can we do items 13, 14?
yeah, but I wanted to ask Monica something. Would this be an appropriate time to do public comment on the closed session item, or do we wait till the end of CTA?
You can take public comment on any item at any time that you choose, or you could just wait until you're going into closed session and you have the 3 items identified and take any public comment that anyone may have. That way you have the public comment right before you head into closed session. It's at your discretion, Chair Fullendorf.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure that we are clear on the public comment part. Okay, we will wait till we go to CTA and get public comment on all 3 items at that time, if that is okay with the rest of the board. Seeing good? Okay, perfect. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 12, which is county and city report. I see that the county is here. Hi, Robert.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I have a few things to report. There was a question on work occurring on Cherokee Creek Bridge, which is the Caltrans replacement of the bridge right next to the Wagon Trail project. So what they intend to do is go out to bid and award a contract probably towards the end of the year. And then they're going to hold off on the work until springtime of 2023. So they are going to perhaps finish, the estimated time for completion is November of 2023 for that project. Okay, let's see what happens. Now, as far as Wagon Trail project is concerned, a lot of work has occurred on the western part of Wagon Trail, to the point that perhaps next week it's planned and it's scheduled that they're going to start paving. So they're going to have that portion hopefully opened before winter, and we'll be able to avoid the curves, at least on one section. It'll be between Bonanza Mine and Pool Station, and then back to where we were with the existing road from Pool Station coming this way. So that's happened. Those are the big projects right now. I did have an interesting question came to me, and I was hoping I could get Marlon's attention for a second.
Robert, I hear you.
Okay, hi. So here's the question that came to me. It's interesting. It came to me from the city of Ingles, kind of roundabout, and I understand that Caltrans wants to do some improvements at Gun Club Road. And so the portion of Gun Club Road that they want to do some work on seems to be a private road. And there's a culvert or a drainage issue that's happening there. The interesting thing about that, I was looking at the survey maps for that, and or some old agreements, and it looks like the county has perhaps some ownership or something, and I'd have to untangle that, but I'd like to understand who I should be speaking with in Caltrans and how we untangle that mess.
Robert, have you spoken with the project manager lately?
No, I would like to be able to speak with the project manager.
Yeah, I think that would be the first contact you probably would like to make for that inquiry. But I can definitely follow up internally and see. I'm 99% sure, haven't spoken to the project manager, that's who you should be contacting for that.
Okay. Robert, I'll get in contact with you and we'll get in contact with the project manager. I think it's Alan Lau.
Okay, and then we could get the survey maps together?
Yep.
And if I have some old historical information, it might be helpful, but we'll go from there.
I'll talk to you on part of it too,
Okay.
because there's
Thank
a
you.
couple of owners that have property right there in front that,
Yeah, this has to be in the front, because I don't know there are any
Yeah.
other drainage areas.
Dennis Mills has property around that area, right?
I don't think there
It's
though.
Darren.
Maybe you guys can just talk about it on the side.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah.
guys contact let Melissa help you guys facilitate that
Yeah.
conversation.
Thank you, Marlon.
Thank you. Okay, well, it almost feels like I kicked a little beehive, but okay. I had no intentions of that. Are there any questions? Do you have any questions on anything that's going on?
No, but I do have one question on the Wagon Trail project. You talked about opening up, and you're talking about from Hunt Road to Pool Station, or not, from Pool Station west?
To the west.
Yeah, going west.
Right.
So it's not going to affect the flow of traffic in any way going on to the new paved section from the old highway?
They're gonna put in what they call a shoe fly to make sure that
Okay,
the
all right.
transition
Okay.
is correct. So there's still some work to be done, but that's the hope.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, let me let you know this is interesting. We are at 173 working days, 227 are remaining. So they need to kind of get some of this done so that they could prepare for winter. They're preparing for winter now.
And one other question, and I had a conversation with you just the other day. PG&E is stepping up and taking care of their portion of it, so it's not going to hold us up any.
That's a difficult thing. They were in there moving poles or putting in some new poles, but there are some areas that they're still lagging behind. So the contractor's working around as best as he can.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. We don't want to work around it. He bid to go straight through.
The portion that is a little delayed by PG&E is the eastern portion of that construction work, which is going to happen next year. So we're fighting with them a little bit.
Yeah, but they've had over a year to start moving that stuff, and they didn't do it. And that's my concern. You're talking about the number of days left and what we have to finish. And if they're holding us up or we're going around them, it's going to add days to that, which is going to come back to us for the contractors, and you owe us X amount of change order because we couldn't do the work straightforward like we talked about because PG&E didn't move their poles. Yeah, so,
We're on top of that. That's
Okay.
almost a daily struggle that we have with those guys.
okay. Thank you, Robert.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Robert? Oh, I'm looking online, I don't see anyone's hand up, so we're good? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Robert, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So this also listed city report, I'm not seeing any city members unless they joined online.
No, I can, or go ahead.
Yeah,
Actually, we have
you wanna
council-
do-
We have council, huh? I'll do the council.
You want to do it during council updates?
I'll do the council updates.
Okay, okay. We'll move on to item number 13, which is council report. I'm going to start with Alvin.
Okay. As Gary was nudging me over here, so last night, so the Murphy's Grade Road, I believe is done. That is the one I'm thinking of is done. That just got checked off. Oh, sorry, a month or so, thank you. And then last night, we did Resolution 2270 for Angels Creek Trail, Main Street, pedestrian improvement, sidewalks, bike lane, for the RSTP and CMAC to get all that rolling. How's that?
Good job.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor.
That's all I have.
Gay?
I have nothing. Alvin brought us up to date, so I'm good.
Awesome. Pat?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Alvin brought us up to date, so.
Tim?
I have nothing because the memo says Alvin brought us up to date.
There you go, Alvin. You had the spotlight.
I guess I did. I took it. Ran with it.
Krista, do you have anything? No? Okay. Caroline, do you have anything?
No, Alvin did bring us up to
And then I don't have anything, because Alvin brought us up to date. Okay, we'll move on to staff report, and
Oh, Aaron, here you go. To shine, great,
I'd
powerful.
like to piggyback off Alvin if I could. Say everything up to date.
Up to date.
I have a brief, little thing I put together. So, we currently have the ZEB, or the Zero Emissions Bus Rollout Plan, in progress. The consultant is currently working on our draft site plan, the modeling for it, the cost analysis, and the ultimate actual plan, for a draft, and the draft will be available for internal review probably at the end of this month, at which point we'll send out to the project committee and then to the COG board in December with the draft plan for your guys' review. The emergency evacuation needs and access and preparedness plan has just wrapped up its public outreach at the end of September. So that was assessing the evacuation and access needs. Those surveys were available on the website. They remain available on the website, so people can still take them. We got, I believe, last count was 91 responses. 86 of which were just public responses, which was really great. We wanted to see a little bit more of like emergency services and critical facilities surveys completed than we got, but we did get a couple of those. And so now the project advisory committee will be meeting at some point in late October or early November. It's not scheduled quite yet, to go over the responses that were received, and the next steps is identifying the investment and adaptation strategies portion of the project. The electric vehicle charging implementation plan, we have the RFP circulating to city and county staff for their review and feedback. And once that's finalized, we'll release that request for proposals, anticipating probably by late October, I think, with this timeline we have right now. So that'll be the next step in planning for city and county fleets, as well as transit and public use charging stations throughout the county. Moving forward, I've been continuing also to get up to speed on the projects and project management aspect, and so moving forward, I will have a similar planner's report monthly in the packet for you guys to review. So
Cool.
that's it. Unless Alan wants something.
No, you brought us up to speed, Aaron.
Or if you have questions.
Good job, Aaron.
Thanks, Gary.
And I'd also like to thank Erin. She's been working with the county planning department in transitioning the modeling software from the SB 43 project.
Wow.
So she's done a good job. Thank you.
And you continue to show up.
I do,
Yes, that's
every day.
great and powerful.
Everybody knows where I live, so I can't not. You get tracked.
Callie.
I do not have anything to report. I know
Good.
it's so late.
Okay. Erin used to say that a lot when she first got the job, so you'll have to work into it.
Yes.
Melissa.
Thank you. As Alvin said, I'm excited for our call for project applications. They're due October 12th. And then we'll start our work with the Technical Advisory Committee and bring back to the council some recommendations. I also had the privilege of meeting with Sam at Caltrans on the Clean California program and with the county integrated waste manager. And I think she's going to come up with some dates for some dump days, and also working with the City of Angels because they're going to do a dump day as well. So I look forward to that, and I'm going to circle back with Marlon because I think our staff will be attending those workshops, so that's exciting. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there any questions from the board? No? Okay. So just a reminder, we're moving closed session on to after the CTA. So with this, we will adjourn the COG and move over to CTA. Do you need a moment to switch?
Hi. Hi, Carol. Hi, Robert.
I'll call you, and then I'll call you on the RSTP thing too. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. You guys ready? Awesome. Okay, we are now transitioning over to the Calaveras Transit Agency, CTA, and first up is the consent agenda. We have a number of items on consent. Is there any board member that wishes to pull consent agenda item? I'm not seeing here. Caroline?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the agenda. Is there minutes in
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll pull it.
Okay, item 2. Okay, are there any other board members? Okay, I would like to pull number 4. Okay. So with that, on consent, is there any public comment on consent? Not seeing any? Okay, perfect. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item 1 and 3?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Alvin, seconded by Tim. Can you please do a roll call?
Roll call consent agenda, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Shirado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Unides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye.
I believe item number 2 is because you weren't here, so we're pulling that. So I'm going to make a motion for consent agenda item number 2.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, I'm calling for a motion. Call
Oh.
for a motion
But you
for
made a
consent
motion.
agenda item number 2, sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Alvin made the motion. Is
I'll
there a
second.
Tim, can you please do a roll call?
Roll call consent item number 2, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Shirado,
Abstain.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Unides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye.
Next is consent agenda item number 4. So I wanted to call out to Cynthia. She got the Best Transit Service Award for this year, and I just wanted to recognize that you guys got this. I think it's awesome. I don't know if you guys saw it in the board packet, but I just wanted to highlight and say congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that. My staff works really hard to make sure we're serving our community, so thank you.
Thank you very much. And your staff.
Great job. Thank you. Good.
So I just wanted to recognize it, and so we don't overlook it. We don't always highlight it, and we're just busy reading it. So congratulations. Is there any public comments on this? None? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda item
I
number
move this
4?
item.
Move, Gay. Is there a second? Tim? Seconded by Tim. Roll call, please.
Roll call consent item number 4, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Shirado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Unides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye.
Next is regular agenda, and we have item number 5, which is public comment for any item not on the agenda. And at this time, I don't see any public comment in the room. Are there any online? None? Okay. So with that, we'll move on to regular agenda item number 6, which is resolution fiscal year 23-4, adopting the TAM plan for Calaveras Transit Agency. Aaron?
That's me. Hello, board. So it is a requirement of agencies receiving federal funding that we have a transit asset management plan and update it every 4 years. So our first plan we did in 2018. This is the update. It's a valuable tool. It helps us facilitate managing our assets. In this case, our assets are vehicles. In the packet, in the packet on page 6, you'll also see our rough estimate of our vehicle replacement schedule. This is a rough one, so we're not beholden to it, but it's a good exercise for us to kind of review everything that we have and what the useful life benchmarks are. And so we're presenting it for review. It is due to Caltrans on the 1st, but I've already spoken with them and confirmed that after this meeting, if it passes, I'm able to submit it, so. And I'm.
Are there any questions from the board? Are there any online? I'm not seeing anyone. Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? I'm not seeing any in the room, and the girls are shaking their head that there's none online. Okay. So with that, is there a motion to approve agenda item number 6?
I do have one question. And it kind of pertains to this. Do we have any more information on the van?
Orders waiting. Announcement.
I think at the last meeting I shared that we did get a chassis number. Aside from that, it still needs to go to Colorado to have the conversion aspect of it done. So aside from that, I don't have an update.
Okay.
The original estimate was by end of year. I think that's looking a little, what's the word I'm looking for?
Optimistic.
Yes, a little optimistic, but I'm thinking if it's not by end of this year, it's going to be early next year. So I don't think we're too far off of that original estimate.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, was my mic still bad?
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve this agenda item?
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that? Okay. Can you please do roll call?
Roll call agenda item number 6, Amanda Follendorf,
Aye.
Gary Tofinelli,
Aye.
Alvin Brolio,
Aye.
Caroline Sherrado,
Aye.
Krista Dodd,
Aye.
Tim Unides,
Aye.
Pat Bettinger.
Aye.
Hold on 1 second. Just put this away for a second. Okay. Next, we have item number 7, which is the Paris Transit update. Cynthia? Hi.
Hello, good evening, Madam Chair. I don't have a whole lot to add to it, but funny enough that you brought that up, I noticed. But I did remember after I sent it in, I said, oh, I can't believe I didn't put that in my report. So we're really excited about that, so thank you again for acknowledging us. So Columbia College is back on track. I have a new driver on there. He is amazing. His name is David Christensen, and he's loving the job, but more importantly, they're loving him. So the college is in good hands. And so he tells me he's got a pretty good cold following. That's what he used anyways. And then our dial-a-ride, we are still working on our dial-a-ride. It's building. We have some days that are a little bit more busier than others. And it looks like the ARC is going to start up full swing as of December 5th. So we'll get even busier in that dial-a-ride. Then, let's see here. Cooling centers. It seems that every year around Labor Day weekend, about 3 to 4 days before the weekend, we get a call and they want us to man a cooling center, usually over the weekend. And it was exceptionally warm, I will say. But I was so thankful that our drivers, they always come to the rescue, and they're willing to go the extra mile. And so we were able to get a few people to man the office and man the buses, and we were available. I'm hoping that as we go forward, we'll be able to provide a better service for more people. Well, not a better service, but for more people. And we've only had about 5 people call during the whole time, but it's 5 people that got a ride, and we're able to cool down. So I'm hoping to look for a little more outreach for that. We had a couple nice compliments, so the ladies up in West Point are happy with us, and we've got a couple extra people add to our roster. And then Jason here in San Andreas, he said some nice things about Carol and our trainees. So I thought I would start incorporating those in our reports because you probably don't get to hear all the cool stuff that we hear. So sorry about not doing that before. Outreach. So near the end of my medical leave, they had the Mark Twain Medical Health Fair here in San Andreas. I'm like, well, I'm not missing that. So off I went, and we had a great time. We got to see a lot of people that we hadn't seen that ride our buses, reach out to some new people, tell them about our services, and then also get to pull resources with all the other people that were attending and had tables. So just a little highlights of that. Our biggest challenge is really recruitment. It's still a challenge. I've hired 5 people, and out of 5, I have 2 left. And so if you know anybody or if you have any other ideas for recruitment, let me know. But that is our biggest challenge, to try and get drivers. So that's all I have. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions. Do the drivers work 40 hours a week? Is that a 40-hour-a-week job?
It's closer to about 32 to 36, depending
32
on
to
the route
36
they
hours.
get.
And the wage for it?
The wage is $16 at training and $16.50 after training. And then after that, it yearly increases.
And is there any CalPERS? No, there's no, okay.
We do have medical and dental.
We do have
vision
medical and,
For full-timers, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll ask around.
All right, thank you.
Tim?
Yeah, Cynthia, does this require a Class A license?
It requires a Class B CDL. They could, let me give you an idea of what happens. Often, we'll get somebody come in, they'll have a Class A CDL, but they won't have a passenger endorsement. So now I have to do the complete training all over again. They have to test in our vehicle so that they can get that passenger endorsement. So it's, it's the same process. But I've been lucky. I got a couple people from the school district that came to work for us, and they had their Class B, they had the CDL, they had the passenger, actually they had the upgraded one. So they had not just a passenger endorsement, but they had a GPPV, which allows them to go on school property with kids and stuff. So that's always a plus. It really is, because it's about 2 weeks before I can get them on the road, because of our training, classroom training, and then we go behind the wheel training just to make sure that they are good drivers, and there's route training. And then once that happens, that's about 2 weeks. But if they're starting from scratch, you're looking at a month to 5 weeks, just depending on their learning. And then there's things with DMV that always makes it a challenge. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? Any online? Seeing none? Okay. Thank you. With that, we will, next we have closed session, but we're going to move closed session to the last item. So item number 9, I'm going to allow staff. Are there any staff reports? I'll start with,
No.
Callie?
I don't have anything to report.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So with that, I hope I don't do this wrong. So we're going to join in the closed session, and we are bringing agenda item number 11 from closed session from the COG, which is item A, public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, title Executive Director. And then closed session item from CTA, which is item A, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code 54956.A, property APN 042-003-009, agency negotiator Melissa Rajo, executive director, negotiating party Kennedy Chan, under negotiation price and terms of payment. And then item number B, which is conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, property APN 058-011-34, agency negotiator Melissa Rajo, executive director, negotiating party Greg Diotti, thank you, under negotiation price and terms of payment. So with that, is there any comment on any of those three closed session items from the public? Did I do that right, Monica?
Perfect.
Okay, okay. So I am not seeing anyone in the room and there's no one online. Okay, so with that, can staff please move the needed individuals over to closed session, and we'll give it about a 10-minute break here
10 minutes.
to allow everybody to vacate the room and transfer.